Hey there, YouTube. It's Kurt here. Today we're going to talk about Sky Striker and what the best cards are going to be for this matchup. So this meta is already looking like it might favor Sky Striker really well. Multi-Arrow going the one does hurt the deck, of course, but they're not really in that bad of a position. The deck can still search out a ton of times and get free +1s, and now starting to play Card of Demise. This deck just keeps on evolving, and it just won't stop until Konami literally slits its throat. There's going to be a day when they actually cut off the deck completely, but so far it's just not happening. So if you didn't view like the recent tournament in Germany, like they were the biggest tops were Sky Striker, and it's unfortunate, but it looks like this deck just isn't going to go away for the time being. With that in mind, here are some great cards that you can use against this matchup. All right, so I'm not really going to rank these in any particular order, but these cards tech in so well against this deck. The first one I want to mention, and this might be the best one, but if you play a deck that can search your field spells, well, a card that you are going to want to use for this matchup is Black Garden. Black Garden will turn off your opponent's back row cards, like Widow Anchor, de facto by putting on the field and beginning to summon monsters. Sometimes that alone is just enough to win the game because Sky Striker can remove its own tokens, but they just can't remove that many tokens in a single turn, and they're really going to have a very hard time with that. Also, it's a deck that likes to play Mystic Mine, and so if Mystic Mine's on the field and you're playing Black Garden, they're going to have an even tougher time really making any use of their cards whatsoever. So expect Black Garden to be an excellent side for you, especially if it's searchable with your one terraforming, or if you're like me, you play set rotation. All right, so that's one of the best options. Obviously, this deck, Sky Striker, is incredibly weak to Kaiju. So the deck does have to make use of its resources very well. It has to manage them very efficiently. And one of the key things that Sky Striker does is revive Ray from grave should a Sky Striker Link monster be destroyed. That monster is not destroyed if it is tribute summoned, and it's not leaving the field because of a card effect if it's used for a tribute summon or tributed for a special summon. So if you put Kaiju on the field, not only are you shutting off their back row, but they're preventing Ray from getting on the field at all. So if any opponent tries to rule shark you in this issue, just remember that the ruling is that Ray cannot come back from the graveyard if the card is Kaiju. Kaiju is a very excellent side option for this matchup. Now, like many other matchups, Pankratops is just the king, but I think Pankratops is even better against this matchup because obviously Sky Striker relies heavily on targeting, and if they can't really they can target Pankratops, of course, but a lot of times you're just tagging out and just destroying something before your opponent even gets a chance to resolve anything. So Pankratops, obviously a really great option against almost any matchup, but I think this goes especially for the Sky Striker matchup. As far I don't even play this card, but it's not too bad. Now, one other card that I want to mention is actually a card that is often used as side deck for really crazy Thunder Dragon boards. Thunder Dragon boards are Guard Dragon boards, and if you have this in your side deck and you're playing an opponent that chooses to go first, Electric Virus isn't that bad of an option. Electric Virus will take control of your opponent's Sky Striker monster because it is a machine, and then you can start linking away with it. And if you start linking away with that monster, one, it's a free resource, and two, if you link summon a monster using that material, then your opponent still does not get the Ray effect. And that's something really important to keep in mind. Now, again, a lot of people for going first decks, they're just playing anti-spell. If you play anti-spell against Sky Striker, you're probably going to win at least one game that you drew that spell. The trouble with anti-spell is it's turn dependent. So you want to take it easy on playing some turn dependent cards because Sky Striker can make full use of them. But Sky Striker is also really slow, so if you play going second, it's probably not that bad. Now, other cards I want to mention real quick, evenly matched can be a really good bet, but now the Sky Striker has a problem putting a lot of cards on board turn one. But again, evenly matched can hurt them really badly. And I think they're a deck that's really easily sided for. So I think that Sky Striker in general, it's just lost a lot of the oomph that it used to have, and it's not too hard to take control of the game after only one turn if you know how to side appropriately. Now, again, all these cards are just great options, and there are probably a few others that would come to mind that would prevent your opponent from really doing anything. Droll and Lockbird can be excellent. Actually, Droll and Lockbird used to be even better against Sky Striker, but now, since Sky Striker has lost some of that consistency, Droll and Lockbird isn't as good, but it's still a very solid option, and I think Droll and Lockbird is still one of those necessary cards because every format is going to have that one deck that just searches out so much, and that it's just an excellent thing to have. And also, of course, Twin Twisters. Twin Twisters, if you use Twin Twisters against Sky Strikers, well, sometimes they just cry because it's Twin Twisters. It's pretty self-explanatory. And you want to be careful if you're going first and you side in Twin Twisters, that's not always optimal. Yeah, but Cosmic Cyclone. Cosmic Cyclone is actually even better, because if you banish their field spell, it's not counted as being destroyed, it's being considered banished. So they do not get the summon from deck if you banish their field spell. These are all things to keep in mind. They're just kind of weak to back row removal, but again, out of all these cards, I most highly recommend the Black Garden, and if you're really that worried about the Sky Striker matchup, Kaiju just makes them hurt so badly. So badly. No one's going to put like a Mask of Restrict in their deck to prevent themselves from being Kaiju'd. If they do that, then just give them a cookie or something, because they they just cared that much about their monster. But hopefully this guys helps you, and I'm hoping to see a format where we have a lot of educated individuals that are just taking down this deck and preventing it from ever breathing life ever again. Peace.